join the cheer. Hiker Brewing is where we chat, 'cause it's where good beers are at. Support it out.
Are we here?
We are here. Wherever here is.
I'm here in body, but maybe not mind. So still getting over jet lag.
Yeah, mate. It's since you've gone, heaps has happened. There's been, brewery closures, brewery repurchased.
Yeah.
We're wearing hoodies.
It's funny. It's actually colder here than it was in London. So
Yeah.
I was walking around London with pretty light jacket on, and I came back and had to find all my hoodies. So.
Yeah, last night was cold.
So.
But, I'm wearing longer socks today, so it's a little bit warmer. But yeah, a little bit chilly, mate. Look, before we get into it, because you're going to chew our ear off, hopefully, but shout out to our sponsors, as always. Massive thanks to Bintani, Craft Monks Canning, Convoy Kegs, Rullings Labels and Stickers, and, of course,
Hiker Brewing.
Hiker Brewing Concern.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Good beers. I'm drinking, actually, Horizon. I swear it's changed, but you guys say that it hasn't. But
It's just a lot of love goes into it.
Yeah, not too much love, I hope.
No, probably not.
Nope. Oh dear, mate. But yeah, you're back.
Yeah,
you went on a whirlwind.
Yeah, three and a half week tour of Europe. So, and a lot of beer consumed and a lot of places visited. So,
nice.
So it was good. Yeah. So because I started off in Munich. Went to Springfest, so that was actually...
Got yourself some lederhosen?
Yeah, bought that.
Stood on a table?
Stood on a table.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't the first on the table, so that's all right. That's all right. But yeah, no, it was good. It was actually it's at the same park that they have Oktoberfest, but it's only probably maybe a tenth of the size. So there's this massive wasteland of just nothing.
Yep.
And there's a few tents and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was actually, I was really keen to go there because October's not a great time to travel for us in the brewing industry because that sort of ramp up to Christmas.
Yep.
So it was good to experience Springfest. Sat on a table with a lot of people from a lot of different countries.
Nice.
And really enjoyed getting into one of the beer tents, so that was a good experience, and just it was good to experience, and I could just imagine what Oktoberfest would be like. So I really want to get there at some point, but it was definitely a good taster in regards to Springfest. So the weather was warm-ish, but had a lot of good beers there, and enjoyed that.
Was there any beer that was a massive standout that you were like, I wish everyone back home could taste this, or it was just because you were
at
there?
Oktoberfest or
anywhere? Yeah, while you were away.
No, I think Macalla was probably a bit of a highlight. So it was a very different sort of beer festival, in regards to it's sort of a juicy style where you pay your money and get a ticket, and you can basically sample everything. But the sample glasses were so small.
Yep.
It was probably a good thing, but it just meant there was a lot more lines. And they definitely pumped through the number of people. So I had a list of all the beers I wanted to taste.
Yep.
But by the time you got there, the lineup was 50 deep.
Yeah.
For some of the breweries. So you sort of just had to sort of bide your time. And by the time you got, when it sort of the crowds died down, it was. The beer had finished.
Yeah, right.
But it's a very different vibe. So gabs and things like that, and juicy, it's dark, lots of entertainment.
Yep.
There it was was a sort of band in the corner. But very light, but a very small venue, not a lot of tables and chairs, so a lot of people standing around. It was definitely all about the beer, and not much else. So it was really interesting, and everyone I spoke to there, loved it, and I loved it too because had some amazing beers. But it's very different to, I suppose, Australian culture. A festival now is becoming more of an entertainment thing. That complements it, whereas it was very bare bones. Wasn't.
That's what happened with beer and cider. in Australia, like in Brisbane.
Yeah.
And it turned into that more of a music festival than a beer festival, and then the breweries just got left by the wayside. And the same sort of thing's sort of happening with Eaton's Hill. You go there, and once the dark's hit, everyone goes inside, listens to the band, goes to the nightclub, and all the breweries are just standing out there having last drinks. And
yeah,
it's
no, it was good. It was good. Like the beer culture there is really strong, so which was good. And then the beauty of it, like McKellar, is basically just around the corner from War Pigs, which is one of the brew pubs that McKellar has, and also it's probably a 5-minute walk from McKellar's main sort of tap room in Copenhagen. But yeah, so a lot of people there, and like that's like we sort of ended up. I was there with my daughter. We sort of had our fill, so we sort of went back to War Pigs to make sure we got a table before the end, but before the massive crowd. So, but yeah, no, it was good. So enjoyed it.
Excellent.
And then obviously Belgium was a bit of a highlight. So it was pretty. I really enjoyed Belgium. A lot of great beers. Like I love Belgian beers.
Yeah, same.
And then running the 17Ks and then having Duval, Camelot, and Cornet. Like basically, you got three drink tickets at the end of the race.
Yep.
You did that, and then so had a few of those. So it was nice to drink some of them nice and fresh. It was I needed it after running 17Ks.
Yeah. But I wouldn't run 17Ks. I've been thinking about doing the push-up challenge that starts in June, and I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The one takeaway that I took was a lot of like a lot of brew pubs over there now are really trying to replicate US and Australia in regards to hazies and stuff like that. They just really missed the mark. I think. I think they've still got a lot of work to do in regards to that. So
it's interesting.
So
like hop burn or
just
too
hop
bitter
burn, and then like there was one in London. I won't mention that, but diacetyl was like through every beer.
Yeah, right.
So it was So I think it's more.
Get them onto our mate Hendo.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it was good. Like, a good variety. Going to little breweries in the middle, Czech Republic too was good. So, you could. That was the beauty. Czech Republic was awesome because you go to a brewery there and you can basically buy bottles of beer for like 750 mils for like $1.20 Australian. Yeah. So it was absolutely crazy. So not the best beer, but anyway, had my fill.
Nice. While you're away, your fireplace got installed here.
Yeah.
And I put up a photo where I'd photoshopped the fire.
Yeah, I saw that.
In the fire.
Yeah, I thought you'd started.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's been cracked on yet.
We've got to cure it for 30 hours. So that's
I didn't do it. I don't know. I was wondering if people thought I actually had lit it.
Yeah, I actually thought you did, but we've got to go down to Bunnings and buy some heat beads to cure it for 30 hours. I was going to do that today, but I'm still sort of getting over jet lag, so I'll probably maybe do that tomorrow or Thursday. So and just start doing it before it gets too cold. But it's a nice little addition to the tap room.
Yeah, it'll make that little pocket of the room really nice. Yeah. And even if you're not sitting there, even just watching a fire makes you feel warm.
Exactly.
Enjoyable.
No, we definitely we've got no insulation in the building, so it does get cold. So it'll be a nice little addition, and hopefully people will enjoy it.
Yeah. Something I forgot to add to our list is Joel and I went to the AIBAs.
Oh, yeah.
Last Thursday, Friday, down in Melbourne. And I forgot to mention it because I don't remember a lot down there. So much beer, so much great times. It was an excellent night. I had the best time. I was talking to a lot of people who I hadn't seen in ages.
Yeah.
A lot of people who knew me, who I hadn't met in person yet.
Yeah, nice.
And just enjoying the night. Like we were down there for the media award, thanks to Hendo. He took us down, gave us a seat at his table, and we were down there for the media award for our podcast. We didn't come away with the gold. There's only a gold. It's only a first place. But we were told we got a close second or something like that. So I don't know the judging criteria and how it's judged.
Because did you get feedback? I
got feedback. I did get some feedback. I'd like to give some feedback back to the judges, but I'm not sure how that'll be received if they're judging next year, so I might leave that. Just keep it quiet, and we'll see how we go. But I will definitely enter again.
It'd be mad
We'll
not
see
to.
how we go. Yeah, it was pretty
good. That's the joys of competition. Competitions really, like, you know, you have high hopes and then it doesn't come out.
No, well,
but then you have low hopes and then you jag something. So
talking about like you tired with jet lag, like on the Wednesday before, I went to an Oatley Wines event at Felons. Well, not at Felons. It was down on Howard Street, Howard Smith Walls, and it was a wine event. So we were drinking a lot of wine that day. I was there for work. And then afterwards, my sales guy and I, we went to Felons, had a couple of beers, and we went up to Madame Wu, where I used to work, and had a couple of beers and some duck buns. And I had alarms set in my phone, and I kept turning them off thinking someone was trying to call me. And I was like, no, you need to go home. That's what this is. You've got a flight in the morning. You've got to be up at 3:30 to get this flight. So we did that. By the time we got to Melbourne, and we called Hendo because we were staying in his hotel. And not in his room, just in his same hotel, but we called him and said, what are we doing? He's gone, I've got to hit the gym, but if you want, you can go to have a beer at Catfish and I'll catch up with you later. And we're like, yeah, okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So we went to Catfish, and Matt Wolf was there from Brew Bar and Beer Co. as well. Yep. Dan came and caught up with us as well. We all got a Philly cheese steak,
nice.
Some chips and heaps of beer. So they had the New Zealand contingent
there.
So I had quite a few beers. I had the stout when I first walked in, then I had a Fuzzy Panda hazy IPA and something else after that. It was super cool little venue. Then we went back to the hotel, got changed into our suits, down to another hotel that Hendo said everyone was meeting at, all the cryo guys and whatnot. So we went down there, played a bit of pool. I was a bit of a shark, won 2 games in a row.
Yeah, nice.
Left it at that. I thought I'm going to leave my reputation intact. Went out to, the AIBAs and had a great night. Came out, went to Heartbreakers for the after party. It was so packed.
Yeah.
And after a while, some of us, like, you couldn't get to the bar. It was like a half-hour dedication to get to the bar and get a drink.
Yeah.
And some of us were like, nah, that's too much. I want to go somewhere and drink. Marianne from Convoy was trying to get us to go to karaoke. We were like, we're not going to karaoke. But we walked up around the corner. I went to a place called Siglo, wine and cigar bar, and bought a couple of bottles of wine with the guys from Kaiju. Sim was there. Who else was there? There was Hendo, me, Matt, Wolf, Joel, bunch of people.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, it had some wine, and then the next day we went to... Hendo took us on a tour around the city, walking around, and... He's not much of a tour guide. He reckons he was a tour guide in Kentucky in London. And he wasn't pointing anything out too much. We were walking along a lot of places, and he pointed out a few places, like maybe 5 or 6. I reckon there were about 30 landmarks that we missed, because Hendo just didn't point them out. We're walking along. We're all in a state of hungover, obviously. And then we jumped on the tram and went up to Stomping Ground.
Oh, yeah, Stomping Ground.
It was
it's
excellent.
One of my favourite venues.
Yeah, no, well, Chris and the guys there, massive shout out to them. They looked after us. And we were going to actually go to Molly Rose and Bodrigi as well, but we ended up just staying there because all the guys from Happy Valley showed up as well. There was Fergs showed up, and so
Happy Valley picked up a trophy, didn't they? Not Happy Valley, Valley Hops.
Valley Hops did.
St. Timothy Valleys.
Yes, and then Joel and I got our trip back to the airport and came home, and I was like, I don't need to drink beer for a while, but then I forgot that we had the Brew Bar and Beer Co. Brew Day for the Ukrainian Golden Ale, which I haven't got it in the notes as well, but I forgot to mention that I reached out to Lana, the lady we've been talking about previously, who's the Cicerone, who's been trying to sell the Ukrainian Golden Ale to the world. And we're friends now on Facebook, and I showed her what we're doing. And we've now got a little icon on the map for the Brew Bar and Beer Co. For the Ukrainian Golden Ale. It's being brewed here in Australia. It's the first one she said that she's aware of. It's been brewed here.
Oh, that's good. Yeah,
pretty cool.
So how many people turned up for the Brew Day?
There was about 9 of us there, 9 or 10 of us there.
Good number.
Yeah, it was good. Heaps of coriander was going in, smelled lovely. And the Brew Day went off Yeah, it was good.
So was that in the boil? You put the coriander or?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, 20 minminutes to go.
Yeah.
We threw it in.
Yeah.
We couldn't find a recipe. There's not an official recipe, and the the style guidelines aren't official. So you just sort of got to wing it.
Wing it. Yeah.
That's what we did. So there we
nice.
go.
Yeah, cool.
It's getting released at Gabs. So
Yeah, no, I kept an eye on the AIBAs, various bars and stuff around London. Just keeping an eye, just seeing who was getting up and who was getting golds and who was in line for trophies. So that was pretty exciting. So they do a good event there, like in regards to at least they live stream it.
it was excellent.
So it's probably the premier sort of beer competition presentation.
Yep.
That I can think of. But people dress up.
Yep.
Whereas, you
I
go
said to
to
Hendo,
Royal
though,
Queensland, you go.
I said to Hendo though, there's no reason you couldn't do it here at Brisbane.
Yeah.
You could definitely do it here at Brizzy for the Brizzy Awards.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely.
You just need the people. Like, it's not necessarily the awards people, but the people who run a function need to run the function side of things.
Yeah.
To make it work, because it's still a function.
It's more the appetite of the RNA to want to do it. That having worked there, I sort of, it's all about. Yeah,
they're probably our biggest listener. You can probably.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. But no, but it is. It's like, because I remember when I used to run the competition, raising that, and then we used to have a dinner for the wine awards, and it was boring, and blah blah blah. So, but yeah, beer's different. So
yeah, man. Well, moving on. This came through today. That I spotted on Crafty Pint was Nail and Beerfarm buying Feral off of Coke.
Yeah, so that's because Coke tried to sell it a while ago and
they've been trying to sell it for a while.
So no, it's good that it's finally back into independent hands. So from reading the article, my understanding is that Beerfarm has bought the production facility.
Yep.
And Nail has bought the brand and. Did they have a tap room? I got no idea.
No, Nail didn't. No, but I think.
But no, did Feral have a tap room? They're saying
Feral used to have a brew pub.
Yeah, because it says.
But they've sold that
Feral
a year ago or 2 years
taking
ago.
ownership of the brand and Feral's employees. So so which is good. So no, it's pleasing that sort of some of these more larger conglomerates like Coca-Cola are sort of getting out of the business and getting back into independence
and let an independent buy it back.
Yeah.
Interesting that Beerfarm are saying that they need the capacity. They need the capacity to be able to do their exporting and what that they need to supply, and they've, which I was unaware of, that they've got a brew kit sitting over here in a farm in a paddock somewhere in New South Wales.
Okay.
Ready to go as well. Yep. That's just been held up by red tape and whatnot. So. Yeah.
So they must. I think that's where sort of Western Australia's got a bit of a competitive advantage in regards to export markets. So like into Asia, I think it's fairly
a bit easier to get there.
Easier to get beer a bit fresher. So So no, it's pleasing that transactions happen. So it's probably a positive in what's been months of not real positive news.
That's right. Yeah. You're right. Yep. Cool. The next one off the list. This all happened while you were away.
Yeah, you sent me a message. So that was pleasing. Black Hops has been saved at the 11th hour by a consortium. So which is really good because I used to work at Black Hops and some great people and great brewers there, and I was sort of really feeling for them. It would have been a very stressful time in regards to, particularly like the week before, it was like. Basically, it's going to go into liquidation. Yeah,
you're not going to have a job.
Yeah, so it's pleasing. It'll be interesting to see
So it did go into liquidation, didn't it? And then this new company bought it?
That's my understanding, is it's a completely new company.
Yeah.
And basically, so maybe, I think they just bought all the assets and the brand. So, but it's good. And it was pleasing in one of the articles that basically said that part of the thing is that they'll transition all the employee benefits over.
Yep.
So the employees aren't going to get screwed. So I think that's a real positive to build a new culture. Because when I was there, the culture was, I'm speaking out of school now, but pretty crappy. Like
Yep.
it was, but I think talking to a few of the guys in the last, before I went away, before the VA, everyone was pretty upbeat. So Nathan Hyde, the new managing director, a very positive guy, very transformational leader. Had a lot of time for Nathan, but yeah. So I think it'll be interesting. It's a big call for the 5 or 6 people
Well, it's
that
a
have
big
bought
call
it.
for someone to take on something the size of Black Ops.
Yeah,
Like, it's not a small operation
no.
down there at all.
But also, I think my concern is the backlash from the 500 or so crowdfund investors who are basically going to walk away with nothing.
Yeah.
So that's so is there going to be a lot of bad blood in the?
Are the ambassadors going to be not so
Yeah.
ambassadorial?
Exactly. I
Yeah.
think some of them copped it on the chin on a few Facebook posts I've seen, but they probably only put in $200 or $250.
Yeah, if you
Whereas
put
other
in-
people, I know a lot of people that their last big raise, some of my friends and acquaintances were going, yeah, we're putting in 10K, and I said to them back then, I said, you're crazy, and they went, why? And I said, the thing is, once you put your money into equity crowdfunding, it's nigh on impossible to get your money back.
Take your passion out of it.
Yeah, and actually
Think of it with a...
yeah, so because really, unless it gets sold to Lion or CUB or someone else, that's where you'll get that's where you get a return.
Yeah.
But also, the business was valued at $68 million.
Yep.
So, which is which was a lot for what it was. But I'm really pleased for the staff down there. I know most of them down there, so I'm really happy that they've got some job security now.
Yeah.
But it'll just be interesting to see how the beer community embraces it. So whether they keep embracing it, particularly, as I said, the crowdfunding people. I had $500, but that was more just supporting them in the first raise.
Yep.
But I saw it more as I like Black Ops beer, got 10% off.
Yes.
So it was, for me it was more,
You would have got your $500 back in discounts.
Yeah, exactly. And that was I've got one share in Brewdog because I used to live near Brewdog, so for $100 I bought one share.
Yeah.
And I've already got my I got my money back on that through discounts. So, it was pleasing that it came out because I really thought that I thought they were done and dusted. So
Yeah, it was, it looked pretty touch and go there for a bit. Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see who the actual consortium is. So
Will that matter though?
it won't matter, but it's just I think most of them are previous investors, so they basically doubled down.
Yeah.
And one passionate craft beer person. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting. I'd love to know how much they paid for it, like that.
Yeah.
But must have been okay. So because they got some pretty smick equipment there, with
like the canning line.
the canning line and things like that. So
Yep.
so no, good luck to them. So I wish them all the best and onwards and upwards.
That's right. Mate, would you drink a beer made with camel shit?
Is that at Gabs?
That is at Gabs.
Is that jumping the shark? But
And my answer to this is 100% yes, because I'll give anything a crack.
Well, it's not really made with camel shit.
No, that's right. Yeah, it's a good headline.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
really
good clickbait.
Cool. 100%. But yeah, it's not made with camel shit. It's like dried camel turd that they use to smoke it, like peat.
Yep.
Smoke the malt.
Yep.
So the shit is actually never even in contact. I don't want to keep saying shit. The manure is never actually in contact with the malt. It's the smoke, but it's still a cool headline.
Yep.
And I want to taste it because the beer sounds delicious.
Yeah,
actually, I love smoky beers. So.
Because a lot of cultures use camel dung for for cooking and things
Manure
like that.
as a whole. Yeah.
So
Yep.
I reckon it's
Cow,
good.
horse, and
I think-
camel, all of it is.
I reckon it's good that people experimenting with stuff and trying to find different things because there can't be too many different beers in the world.
No.
So
You know what's cool about it too is the beer is called Holy Smokes, and I didn't realise that the neighbouring camel farm's called Humpalicious, which I reckon that is a great name for a beer. I reckon that's awesome as well.
Yeah.
But I think it's
So is it going to Gabs or?
Yeah, it's going to Gabs.
Yep.
And hopefully it's at all the Gabs. You know, sometimes they have them. Each state gets a
which
different
brewery
one.
is it? Road Town Brewery.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
good.
South Australia.
Yep.
Look, I'm super excited. I can't wait to see how it goes and see what it's like. I don't tend to buy a lot of the beers off the container bars because they're normally so busy, and I'm running around talking to so many people.
Yeah, and you actually
want
to have like different beers from different sections and things like that. So you're sort of corralled into a certain section. So good luck to them. I reckon. Yeah, I'd love to try it. So
yeah,
hopefully we get to try it at Gabs.
Yep.
So the next one is Master of Craft in Cambodia. So what's that all about?
This is like a cool craft brewing competition where all the brewers have been able to brew a beer. They've been given a requirement of what they have to do, and that's to make an IPA, and you've got to incorporate 50% of Vic's Secret in their recipe.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which, what I find like cool in it, like they say, this is incorporating this unique hop variety, and yeah, it's unique, but like we've had access to Vic's Secret in Australia here
for a long time.
A long time, which is a cool flavour. Like we still use it in some beers down at Ballistic. It's one of those, it's a workhorse hop. It's there. It does what it says, and off it goes. But yeah, so this competition is one of those. It's almost like a home brew competition, but it's a brewery competition. So all these beers are able to be judged by the public, but there's also a whole contingent of judging that can be taken place by the professionals.
Yep.
I was talking to Hendo today. I said, hey mate, I know you're over in Ho Chi Minh at the moment. You should have gone over to Cambodia and done this thing. And he goes, I was actually talking to someone today who's going to judge. They're driving over there on Friday to go over there and judge the beers. So I think that's pretty cool. And I've never been to Cambodia. I'd love to get over there. We're going to Vietnam in January, back to Vietnam to visit my wife's family, and I might see if I can sneak away for a few days and jump over into Cambodia and check out some of their beers.
Yeah, nice. And the next story is about Gabs is here, Sydney. The winner is Sydney. They're the first off the rank.
Right, yeah, the first one, yeah. So Sydney is not this weekend, the next weekend. 1.5 weeks away. I actually won tickets through Esker Beer because they had a competition and said, comment and tag, and I fit all of the descriptions, and I just tagged James, one of the brewers at Esker, as a joke, and he almost replied to me and said, wouldn't it be funny if you won? And I did win, and so I've had to say to him, hey man, go and tell you guys. Draw someone else. I'm not going to
You've
Sydney.
Had too many beer trips already.
That's right, yeah. If I didn't go to the AIBAs, I would have gone to Sydney Gabs. But,
it'll be
Gabs
good to
is
kick
starting
it off.
out, and I think it'll be interesting to see what beers people start talking about as Gabs start.
Yeah, that was definitely because last year was, Melbourne obviously first, and it was very much... we had our very contentious Hold the Pork, so we got some pretty good and bad feedback about that.
Yep.
You always get a bit of a sense of who are the front runners for People's Choice and stuff like that, basically, from the first one. So it'll be interesting to see what noise comes out of Sydney.
Yeah, you can see what's on the Untapped.
You can see, the best wackiest beer I've ever had to the worst wackiest beer I've ever had.
That's right.
It was very polarising. So.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, well, Gabs is coming up, and there'll be a lot of breweries leading up to Brizzy, I reckon, with like some deals and discounts and maybe some free tickets to give out. So watch this space. Not on here because I don't have any tickets to give out, but we'll probably do another Roving interview on one of the days.
Probably.
I have to talk to Joel. We'll get you before you've had too many beers this time.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to go.
Oh, okay. That's a big call.
I might man the tap room. So
yeah, right, okay.
Just, I've had my fill of beer. I'm sort of trying to cut back. So after...
Gabs is in 3.5 weeks, mate. You got time to...
Yeah, I know. Detox.
yeah. You got time, mate.
Dry June.
Yeah.
No.
I told myself I wasn't going to drink after the AIBAs, and so far it's Tuesday and I haven't had a day yet without a beer, and I'm still...
Yeah, no, it's.
dear.
We haven't really discussed it yet, but
Yeah.
we'll probably end up splitting the shifts or something like that. But
Yeah.
it's
I think
very
over
much-
2 days it's going to be really good up here. I'm quite optimistic that it's going to be great.
I actually think that's the best decision that they've made because 2 sessions on one day was always too much.
Yep.
Well, one for the people behind the stands and,
Yeah.
and 2 for the punters.
Yep.
People like, and I've got a lot of friends that come down from Rocky and from the country, and then they do both sessions and they're
Yeah.
completely written off. So
Yep.
whereas at least you get some sort of
Well, I
respite.
think too, you go out on a Friday, you go to Gabs, and you go out afterwards. Maybe you'll have dinner,
Yeah.
and you won't go too hard that night. You'll go be like, oh yeah, and then you'll go to bed
Yep.
and wake up the next day, have a big breakfast, go to Gabs again,
Yeah.
and then go out on the Saturday night and make Saturday your big one.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think the bars around Brizzy on Saturday night are going to be
Yeah.
packed.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So-
No, I think it was a very good decision. I must admit, it was funny. I was listening to the AIBA Awards live stream.
Yep.
And I think Gabs got up and basically, I think Royal Melbourne got up and said, "Oh, we're the venue for Gabs Melbourne this year," and like the sigh in the crowd was like, oh. Because normally it's sort of like tail dove the
Yes.
the AIBAs. So.
Yep.
But unfortunately, the venue wasn't available.
Mate,
So they
as
had
someone who went to the AIBAs, had wines the night before, and then was drinking at Stomping Ground the next day,
to.
if the Gabs was on, and I would have stayed down for it,
Yeah.
I don't know how I would have handled it, hey?
Yeah.
My body was like going, what are you doing?
Yeah. It's a massive, it's a massive few days, isn't it?
Because I don't sleep well anyway. Like 4 or 5 hours a night, most nights.
Yeah.
And I only had, I think, 6 hours from Wednesday through to Friday.
Yeah.
And man, Saturday I was hurting.
Oh, it would have been. Yeah. The next story is: did breweries jump the shark with hazy beers?
Hazy beers is it a case of breweries have jumped on it and they're trying to make the beers that sell, or is it the case of punters asking for these beers and we're brewing them and we're brewing out the other styles out of existence now?
Oh, it's all supply and demand.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Like I'd love to brew a lot of different beers, but I know they won't sell.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
so you've basically got to do what our top selling beer is the Hazy Pale Horizon.
Yep. Horizon.
By Country Mile, and
Why I
then it's
drink it.
always and always the Hazy IPA. They're the top two.
Yep.
So
Well, you had Hero Haze, and it wasn't on tap for long because
No.
people were just belting it through.
yeah.
Cloudscapes is always a crowd favourite here. You've got a new one,
It's a banger.
coming out.
Ridge Runner.
Ridge Runner. Yeah,
It's with an experimental hop. It's
mate,
we
it's
tasted
tasting
it yesterday.
incredible.
I'm very excited by that.
So good. It was a real nice
it's
mango and rock
HBC
melony
108.
thing.
Yeah,
It's an incredible tasting beer.
Yeah, so we were hoping to pack that tomorrow, but we're going to leave it. We put a bit of biofine in there because we've still got a bit of a hop fleck through it. So
you want to clear it out
I
properly.
want to clear it out because I actually think we're very keen on sending it to Indies for judging because I think it's. Yeah, I think from the samples I had from the tank, I think
it's a cracking beer.
As
soon as the glass is in front of you,
you can smell it.
And yeah. I don't know what Dan's doing up there, but he must be doing something similar to Matty Wilson up at Moffat Beach.
Pissing the fermenter.
I don't know. It's not been proven.
Not been disproven.
That's right. Because I remember doing that with Resin Hopsicle and Shadow of the Moon. As soon as you open one or someone put it near you, you could smell it straight away. So
we're just hoping that, so we're definitely going to have it on tap this weekend, even if we need to can it because we need to get Cloudscapes in. Because we're doing another 2 batches of that in the lead up to Gab. So a bit of a tight time frame, but it is a cracking beer.
So this article talks about have hazy beers ruined the craft beer experience because the people over the last... Because hazy beers have been out for, a long time now, probably a decade. Hetty Topper was the first one to come out with the way, like the NEPA. But you've got, do you reckon that it's ruined the beer landscape for the younger generation, like these people who have just started coming through and drinking beer? Has it ruined them because that's what they think all beer is, or is it?
I think
that's
it's
just the beers that
generational.
are available, and they're after that sweeter, less bitter
That's
taste.
what I mean. They want less bitter, don't they?
Yeah.
Like, they've grown up like kids. They have sweet. Like cereal,
Sweet everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't want bitterness. They want, they want the sweet stuff. So
Whereas
it's funny. Like
I came through like drinking craft beers, like when it was the West Coast IPA battle of the bitterness.
Yeah.
And I love bitterness in beers. Certainly doesn't put me off, but it also, I sometimes go searching for bitter.
Yeah.
You get some beers and you're like, oh man, you put some nice bitterness to this, it'd really develop
it's
this
interesting.
beer.
I think it all comes down to, I think people also, it's like marketing. There's a lot of hype around hazies. Everyone keeps saying, the haze train's going to run out at some point, but I just can't see it happening for a while.
At the same time though, like your beer list is quite, it's extensive, but it's also quite varied. You've got a porter on, you've got a wee little.
Yep.
There's a whole bunch of stuff up there.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going, you got 9 hazies and a lager and a dark and that's it.
We try to have a bit of diversity on our sort of 12 taps. Just to cater for everyone from, the tradie that comes in on a Friday afternoon with a mid-strength lager all the way through. But we definitely try and just keep to one hazy pale, which is Horizon, which is now core range, after much insistence from you.
You're welcome.
And then we always try and mix up the hazy IPA, because you always want something new. That's the thing. Like back in the day, people would they're a Forex drinker or a VB drinker. Mm-hmm. Now I think it's more of a style drinker. So they're either a hazy IPA drinker or they're or a lager drinker.
It's funny, I'm totally not a style drinker. Like, I'll walk into every bar and look at every list and be like, I feel like that today. That sounds pretty good.
It's funny, you always go for hazy pale when you're here, so...
That's because it's 4.5%. It's easy. You can have
You
a
can
couple
drive.
and drive home, so yeah.
No, exactly. Yeah. But I think the world, it's changed. There's there's definitely a lot of our regulars are definitely style drinkers, so, they want the next new hazy IPA. They're always asking when it's coming. We haven't had a hazy IPA on for a couple of weeks. Because Hero just flew off the shelves.
Yeah, it did. Yep.
So
your Sherpa's going pretty quick too. Your porter.
Yeah, it's nearly. I think we're down to the last keg.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and that was mainly because we split the batch. So part of that batch went in for the Gabs beer.
Yep.
So we learnt lessons from last year's.
Not having too much on hand of a hold the
I'll
pork.
hold the pork. But also, it's a cash flow issue. Like in regards to like you can't actually sell the Gabs beer until after the last Gabs.
Well, that's the thing too. Like when you're brewing your Gabs beer, you've got your porter, and then what you're doing, you've got a choc orange porter. Yep. So you need to add adjuncts and everything to it. It's a totally different beer. Yeah.
So it was. So we decided to split the batch. So but
cool.
Sherpa's been going well. So.
Mate, I found this article about repurposing brewer's yeast to filter water and extract lead and other metals from it.
Oh, really? So it's not Vegemite?
No, that's right. It's not. I love these sort of articles where it's like science is still finding new things to do. With these sort of things, and I find it funny that like Dan's doing it right now. He's over there. You said he put some biofine in the tank. That'll pull some yeast out of your tanks. Like we're adding filtering aids to clear yeast out of our beers, and then these scientists have been able to find out that yeast can be used to filter metals out of water.
And that's the idea, isn't it? Like that, your byproducts have got some use somewhere. So, it's definitely like, I remember back in my school days going to the local abattoir, but everything at the abattoir, the cattle abattoir was used. I think the only thing that wasn't was eyeballs.
Right, okay.
So basically, the bones and everything was turned into fertiliser, everything like that. So wherever there's a byproduct,
Yep.
it's good if you can find a use for it, because that's that sustainable
Yep.
sort of community.
It's sustainable and it's economical.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, it's exciting, and I'm glad people are looking at that. That was
So there's a new term. It's called bioabsorption, which lead binds to the yeast. So they've got it in like these little capsules, and the guys who came up with it, this filter ran for 12 days and was able to produce high level drinking water for those 12 days just from brewer's yeast, which is pretty insane.
What, dead yeast or?
Yeah, it's like brewer's yeast that comes out of you.
Amazing.
Yeah, they still don't know how it works, which is the fun thing.
I wonder how they stumbled across it. Probably the same way someone stumbled across how to make beer.
It's one of those things, right? Yeah. Like apparently it was just they were at a scientific conference and someone said something, and like a student said something, and another guy knew what he was talking about and thought, oh, that might work with what I'm trying to work out how to do, and they started chatting, and then off they go and
it's good.
make this stuff. I love all these science nerds doing this cool stuff.
It's interesting. No, that's well above my pay grade. But that's the one thing, my takeaway from my Europe trip, particularly Denmark. Like Copenhagen's trying to become the first city in the world to get to zero emissions by 2025. So every taxi, every bus is electric.
Yep.
And then they've got this massive building that's called Copenhill, and it's basically a big incinerator.
Yeah, right.
And all the rubbish from the city goes there, and they must do something with the plastics or whatever, but it actually generates enough electricity, and it's also got heat pipes that go to houses, and it heats 60,000 homes,
and
it's
collects
got this,
all the carbon.
and it's basically got this slanty roof. They've got a ski slope down it. They got hiking trails up it.
Yeah,
so
right.
I hiked up that.
Yeah.
But it's just that's the way of the future is using waste in a positive way. And they've got carbon capture, they've got everything. But it's really impressive, and it was definitely something I really took away. Though I think the European Union and particular countries in Europe are really taking sort of global warming very seriously, and really pumping in serious money into it. Saying that Denmark is quite wealthy, and I went, oh, why is Denmark quite wealthy? Oh, massive oil reserves.
Yeah.
So it's like this yin yang. So it was funny.
Yeah, right. Mate, another one is another science article I found, and again with yeast, is the bee killer beer.
Yeah.
So researchers have found
it's not mead.
No, it's not mead. No, in the gut of killer bees in Namibia, I think it is. There's
yeast.
Yeah, there's this yeast that's there that they've gone to make a beer out of. It's not going to make the beer taste like honey or anything like that. It's not that sort of thing. But it's more on how they can get different types of yeast and what it can do and where it comes from.
But imagine in the environment, there's trillions and quadrillions of different yeasts out there.
Yeah.
And we've only really scratched the surface.
I think yeasts are pretty powerful. I remember years ago going to a talk down at South Bank on yeast. I can't remember the guy's name, but it was a scientist out of QUT who was collecting a whole bunch of wild yeasts out of the botanical gardens.
Yeah.
And I think it was Newstead.
Yeah, because Mark Hauser's big into that.
Yeah. And that was a fascinating topic, and you don't realise there are literally millions and millions and millions of different yeasts out there.
Yeah.
And what they can do. We just don't know, and there's so much that they offer. It's not an animal, but it's not a plant. It's this microorganism that is super powerful that just does so much for us.
Yeah, like bread, a whole range of things. But it's even the filler yeast was from Philadelphia, from the cemetery near the university. So that's where they found that. And it was university students picking up samples and then, culturing them or whatever they do, and then actually putting it into wort to actually see what it'd do. And it was, and it soured first, then it created ethanol.
Yep.
So that's how
Yeah.
filler yeast came
And
about.
the whole point of this yeast is to fund research into how microbiology and yeast can help in the School of Pharmacy with aiding medications and things that might need certain bacteria
Yep.
and whatnot to work. So fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
This little microorganism that changes things that we can't do on our own.
Yeah, no, like science is incredible, and as we get more advanced, it'll keep, there'll be more things that actually come out, and hopefully it'll generate new flavors in beer.
Yep.
But also treating waste, like we spoke about in the last article.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. Cool. Hey, have you ever been to the Middle East?
Well, I stopped in at Dubai on the way through.
Yeah.
It was a bit early to have a
You were
beer.
just in the airport.
In the airport for about 3 or 4 things. So,
yeah.
But yeah.
So
You've been there though, haven't you?
I have. Yeah, I've been to where have I been to? Abu Dhabi,
Yep.
and Saudi Arabia, and it's a different world, literally. But in Saudi Arabia is a dry country,
Yep.
and from reading our next article, there's actually only one licensed bottle shop in Saudi Arabia, which I didn't know that there were any, and I'd be scared to drink them anyway because drink there anyway. You can be fined, you can be put to death.
Have your hand cut off.
Yeah, not the sort of thing that I want to do. But there is an actual craft brewery now in the United Arab Emirates, and they're brewing there, which is pretty cool, I reckon. They've changed a lot of their alcohol laws. They've changed a lot of their production laws and things that they're able to do, and it's having a positive effect on the local area.
Yeah, no, it's good. I think they're starting to loosen up. Obviously, trying to get expats into the country.
It's the tourism
so,
factor.
The tourism.
They're trying to plan for when they run out of oil. What can they do? What have they got to offer the world?
Yep, and they got deserts
Yep.
and big birds.
That's right.
But I think it's good. I think alcohol in moderation is not bad.
For me, the exploration in flavour that they have when they go down to the market and they find a whole bunch of stuff that they can use and put into beer. So they've put in all sorts of different ingredients into beers that they find in the markets, and that is what we all try and do, right? We all try and take from what's our local area and put it into the beers and give it its own sort of unique flavour and such. But there's over there at the moment, there's a lot of changes happening in not just around alcohol, but women's rights, the religious laws and things like that. So I think there's a lot to come from that area of the world.
Yep.
But I would go back in a heartbeat to the Middle East. I loved it over there when I was there.
Yep.
Food, the people were amazing. It was incredible. Do things need to change? Well, I don't know that I'm able to say yes or no to that, but I do.
But I think
love to experience more cultures
I
like
think
that.
they're becoming more liberal, and in particular, as you said, sort of that they're starting to look at the longer term. Oil reserves.
Yep.
Tourism's definitely a big.
Well, Saudi Arabia,
big
for Formula One, for example, I follow Formula One massively, and Formula One has a race already in Saudi Arabia, and I know they're actually looking to design a second track in Saudi Arabia with like a 20-story corner that is angled and hooks around. Hopefully the cars don't fly off, but it's if they're going for tourism like that, people are going to just want to go and drink beer. Like when the Olympics were in, the World Cup was in Qatar. They had all those things.
Well, they had issues, didn't they? Like they tried to stop the alcohol, but
that's right.
In the end, But that's sponsorship money, everything like that.
Yep.
And it's I think everything in moderation. But it'll be interesting to see how that craft beer scene's developed. So
yeah. Nate, you got anything else you want to talk about?
I'm probably just going to go to bed. Yeah, a bit tired.
Yeah, I've got to go and pick up the young fella from school. But, got nothing else. It's good chat, mate. Good to have you back.
Yeah, no, it's good to be back. Brought a lot of ideas back, so I'm just mulling them over in my head at the moment.
Jo said she was going to be here and be on the podcast.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, she slept in this morning because she's got jet lag. Yeah. So she left. A little bit late. So I think she
has to work late.
But she brought you back a couple of shirts. So
she did.
Good.
Yeah. I think XL over in Denmark is obviously not an XL in Australia. I'm going to have to lose some weight. I'm probably going to have to do the old push-up challenge just to lose a couple of kilos to fit into them.
Yeah.
They fit, but
just
not for me comfortable, if that makes sense. Like I like a little bit of looseness.
Yeah, it was funny. Particularly that was one of the things that because we got your shirt from McKellar Beer Celebration. Yeah,
it's excellent.
And we were the.
I put it on this morning, and I'm like, I could get away with it,
but it was the second session, and basically all the merch had nearly sold out.
Yep.
So it was like a mad scramble, like buying stuff. Like we basically got one beer, and then I was like, hit the merch stands. Yeah. Because bought a bit of merch, but it was crazy. Like, and I'm thinking, how could they have completely misread that in regards to how much merch to actually buy? And and then because Joe was saying, oh, maybe they've holding off merch till the next day. I'm going. If you got merch,
why would you do that? You sell what you got.
You got to sell what you got.
You get stuck with merch.
Exactly. And it was like literally. And then I think the next day I saw some people at War Pigs afterwards because we went back there, and they basically had the same shirt but in a different colour. So I reckon they did a mad scramble to the printer overnight.
Get some shirts.
And they didn't have the blue shirt, so they put them on, white shirts.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. I just thought they completely misread it. So which is, it's a golden opportunity. Merch was so expensive. It was like $50 Australian a shirt.
Oh wow.
Denmark is super expensive. So, but I'd love to go back. I haven't spoken to Daniel yet, but I'd like to have a stand there.
He doesn't listen to the podcast, mate. So don't worry.
Be the first Australian brewery at McKellar. It'd be pretty sick. I know Joe definitely keen to go back, and because my ex-wife's Danish, so she wants to explore more of Denmark and particularly her hometown and stuff like that.
She wants to know where her mum's from and what.
That's cool.
Great.
All right, that's enough rambling.
100%, mate. Cheers for that.
All right.
Thanks for coming. Pour it out.
Take a hike. And we'll see you next week.
No one else knows how to do take a hike.